Don't get me wrong.
Because I'd been in such a long-term relationship before, you get used to how to pleasure that one person and what they, enjoy, as opposed to how to pleasure different people and reach their different needs.
So you started OnlyFans.
Yes.
And it was just normal, just a few interactions here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that go from a couple of interactions to, I'm going to sleep with 158 men or however many it was in a few weeks?
So it started off, obviously I realised I was posting these videos pretending I'm having an amazing time. And that's false. And it was fake, and it was fake storylines. I'd, be dressed up, or they was pre-scripted. And also you discuss consent, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, all off camera. And if you're switching positions, that's all edited out. So I was like, I'm posting these videos and it's not either relatable, and it's also in a way fake, because that is not how it happened, on the day. So it's like, I want my content to be more relatable and realistic to people, and also educational.
I mean, I think all you can do is then don't edit it as much, keep it amateur, like the usual, and hey, make it real. No, she has a different solution.
So that's why so when was your first decision to have so many people at such a short space of time?
So I started going to events like Freshers, Spring Break, and there's one in Australia called Schoolies, which is a high volume of sort of 18-year-old people in, I guess a small time frame. So I was like, if I could go and sleep with as many people as I could, not only do I educate those I sleep with, but also I get a video that can educate the wider audience, and obviously I can monetize off that.
I see, but when you say educate, what do you mean? What are you teaching people?
School. You learn about sex education at school, but it tends to be from like a middle-aged teacher who just talks about STDs and says if you have unprotected sex, you're going to get pregnant. And then it goes to people learning online from adult sites, which could be anything from a schoolgirl dressed up, which keeps, playing the innocent game, saying, no, I don't want it. It then leads to them bent over the table, and it goes into sort of like a rough scene. So that can be very misleading. And like, what do people learn from that? Like, I'm not saying those scenes are wrong, but there needs to be something that bridges the gap from sex education at school to these videos online, which can blur the line of consent. So I was like, I want to make content that people can watch, can relate to it, but also can learn. So it's when I sleep with students, or barely legal, as I've said and the media have said, it shows me discussing consent with them. It shows me saying to them, this is what I enjoy, this is what I don't enjoy. And it also gives them an opportunity to tell me what they like. And sort of, I guess, use me as a guinea pig. Trial what you like and what you want to do. So when you go to the next person, you know exactly how to pleasure them and, how to receive pleasure as well.
I can understand what she's trying to do. But the fact that she goes at a specific time when there's a lot of horny people walking around.
So I started going to events like Freshers, Spring Break, and there's one in Australia called Schoolies, which is a high volume of sort of 18-year-old people.
The fact that you even said use me as a guinea pig, but you feel like you're on a moral high ground as if you're doing a good thing. I'm like, I don't know, you're making men respect women more by saying, hey, use me.
And sort of, I guess, use me as a guinea pig.
Practice with me. I don't know. It doesn't send the right message to the majority. I know a lot of people say that old men like young women because they're malleable. They can design their future or the type of woman they want. What do you think that you're doing with a man?
He would do it again if necessary, if there was a present threat. What do you make of the comments?
Well, doesn't that, I just feel like that tells us everything. If we do not want violence on our subways, and the point of our justice system is a level of accountability to prevent a person who does not have remorse about taking another person's life. I mean, even people who have engaged in manslaughter or have taken a life accidentally express remorse. And so the fact that a person may express no remorse indicates that there's a risk that it may happen again. And if we do not want to unleash that level of violence, then we should exert a level of accountability to prevent that from happening again.
I find it very interesting that AOC cares more about the accountability of the people that want to help citizens in a subway than the accountability of the people that go to a subway, enter, throw their jacket down, say they're ready to go to prison, and they shouldn't be that accountable after they threaten people and made other people and minorities to fear for their lives. They're not really that accountable. Why do you keep shifting the accountability? You make it sound that your policies don't incentivize people to justify other stuff.
It was just before 7:30 this morning when our person of interest and the victim were both riding an F train to the end of the line at Stillwell Avenue in Brooklyn. As the train pulled into the station, the suspect calmly walked up to the victim, who was in a seated position at the end of a subway car. The suspect used what we believe to be a lighter to ignite the victim's clothing, which became fully engulfed in a matter of seconds. Officers who were on patrol on an upper level of that station smelled and saw smoke and went to investigate. What they saw was a person standing inside the train car, fully engulfed in flames. With the help of an MTA employee and a fire extinguisher, the flames were put out. Unfortunately, it was too late, and the victim was pronounced on the scene. Unbeknownst to the officers who responded, the suspect had stayed on the scene and was seated on a bench on the platform just outside the train car. And the body-worn cameras on the responding officers produced a very clear, detailed look at the killer. After the NYPD disseminated those images, 3 high school-age New Yorkers called 911 to say that they recognized the suspect. Other transit officers responded to that 911 call and also spotted the man wearing the same gray hoodie, distinct wool hat, paint-splattered pants, and tan boots, already on another moving train. Police radioed ahead to have the train stopped. Then, Transit District 2 officers boarded the stopped train and walked from car to car until they located and arrested the person of interest without further incident. The person of interest also was found with a lighter in his pocket.
If somebody has a lighter with bad intention, the cops usually would not arrive on time, just like this case. But if you had somebody that had the same mentality like Daniel Penny, he might have tried something. But you want any person that has very little power to be way more accountable if they want to help other people that are accountable for their action.
A Clayton County attorney spent 2 nights in jail after police arrested her for trying to remove an alleged squatter from her home. Good evening. I'm George Estevez.
Hello, I'm Wendy Corona in for Linda Stouffer.
That alleged squatter remains in the Clayton County house more than 3 months after an eviction battle began. Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray is here now. And Justin, the homeowner is the one facing criminal charges here, not the squatters.
George, the Clayton County homeowner says she showed up to the house because she thought the alleged squatter had finally moved out after losing a court judgment. Instead, the Clayton Sheriff's Department says that homeowner performed an illegal eviction.
They've been squatting, and if they have to get somebody killed, they'll do it. Calm down.
From Clayton County Sheriff's body camera, you can see the homeowner, Lalitha Hale, taken away to jail, not the alleged squatter at this Livingston Drive home.
She's going to be charged with criminal damage to property for all of your belongings, criminal trespass as well for her coming in here.
I spent the night on a mat on a concrete floor in deplorable conditions while this woman, this squatter, slept in my home.
Lalitha Hale says this all started back in August when she called police after finding Sakimia Johnson in the house.
How can she not be a squatter when I don't know this person? I've never had any type of contractual relationship with this person.
But a Clayton County magistrate judge ruled under the new Squatter Reform Act, Sakimia Johnson did not qualify as a squatter because she is related to a previous evicted tenant's partner.
I was read in the citation about a lawful squatter and an order, a judge signed the order denying it, saying that I wasn't a squatter.
That started a multi-month court battle, filings and appeals. Johnson even filed for bankruptcy, listing Lalitha Hale as her only creditor. But November 18th, the magistrate judge ordered a final judgment in Hale's favor. Hale says she thought Johnson moved out.
I don't understand how we can live in a world when you lose a case because you're in a house and you decide to stay anyway, and the person that tries to remove you because they thought you were out, I don't wanna laugh. Like, I really mean this. Like, where's the compassion? Like, she is sleeping on the street.
I spent the night on a mat on a concrete floor.
Can you imagine you buy a house, you want to go on a vacation, and you're afraid of people going into your house?
Returned on Monday to start painting. And she had broken the locks and re-entered my property. She just pulled up out of nowhere, and she had this guy with him, and I locked the door. I locked the screen door, and he forced himself in, telling us to get out.
Hale admits she is still waiting on a signed writ of possession, meaning she has no legal...
We have to be notified of this. A writ has to be served, and we have to be involved in that for it to be a legitimate eviction.
Hi there, it's Justin Gray with Channel 2. No one answered at the home when we knocked. The sheriff's deputy can be heard on body camera telling Hale to think of things from the alleged squatter's point of view.
But just think of it from this perspective, though. Everybody isn't as fortunate as you to have a bed. No, I'm just saying, a bed, the little things.
To see that woman walk into my mom's house while I was in a police car, something is wrong with this picture. Something is inherently wrong with this picture.
Ladies and gentlemen, being a squatter has nothing to do with your contract generally, but in a specific place, state, jurisdiction, or whatever, they say, well, if you have a contract and you signed and you still stay there without paying, you occupy without permission, then you're a squatter.
Sakimia Johnson did not qualify as a squatter because she is related to a previous evicted tenant's partner.
The law makes you feel protected, but the definition of a squatter has nothing to do with the contract. So this lady wins the case, thinks the squatter went away because it's not a real squatter, they don't have a contract. They come back, act like a normal squatter, and then when you tell them, hey, you're not a real squatter, I can kick you out.
She has no legal right to evict.
The rules defend the person as a real squatter. I don't know what kind of world we live in, but it feels like a clown world. Why do we have people in power when they create laws that don't protect me?
Forward, what are you most optimistic about with a Trump presidency, and what do you fear?
Well, it's like I've been warning people, like, you got to chill out. You know, like the constant, freak out. It's not helpful. So, pack a lunch. Pace yourself, because he hasn't even taken office yet.
Do you think he has the potential to be a successful and a good president?
I hope, because I'm not rooting against him. If you're rooting against the president, you are rooting against the nation. And I'm not ever going to be where I want a president to fail. So country first. I know it's become maybe like a cliche, but it happens to be true.
I'll be honest, he sounds like a Democrat that I would like to be.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk. Criollo colombici jam jam. Dur loqueta verdetta welcome.